Hello, fourth graders. This is Mr. A, and we are looking at our homework for this week. As you know, it's always review, and we want to make sure we don't forget what we learned about fractions and improve our understanding of them. So, greater than or less than, when we're talking about fractions, we have to remember that all fractions belong to a whole, right? They all belong to a whole, and when we're comparing two fractions, for example, 4/10 and 1/2, we're talking about the same size of a whole, okay? So we have 1/4 and 1/4. They are the same whole, however, they are partitioned differently, right? So all whole numbers are in one part. But once we break them into multiple parts, like for example the half is a whole that is made of two parts. The tenths, the whole for the tenth is a whole that is made out of 10 parts. So I'm gonna draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and my 10 is here. This is the 10th, okay? When you're drawing your fraction, you have to ask yourself, okay, I know that this whole is partitioned into two parts, while this whole is partitioned into 10 parts. What is half of 2? Half of 2 is 1, right? So you draw half in the middle of your whole, okay? What is half of 10? Half of 10 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Half of 10 is 5. So we have one fraction that has one whole, one fraction that has 4 parts of a whole, versus the other one has one part of 2. So this one has 4 parts of 10, and this one has one part of 2. Of course, half is bigger than 4/10 because 4/10 didn't even make it to half. Half of 10, half of 10 is 5/10, right? It's 5. So here we use the benchmark half to compare which fraction is bigger, which fraction is smaller, okay? So if we have a different fraction, let's say we have 7/5, remember to always go to your understanding of what fractions are. Fractions all belong to a whole, okay? That whole goes from 0 to 1, okay? Now, is it in one part or multiple parts? That's what the denominator tells us. The denominator here tells us that it is made of 5 parts. The whole is made of 5 parts. So I'm gonna draw 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, how many of those 5 are in this fraction? I have 7. So a whole would be 5. I have 7, so I have to draw another whole, partition it also. So this would be a whole, partition it into fifths. Now, how many are there? 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. So we have a whole and 6/5, 7/5. We're missing 3 pieces from the other one. So actually we have a whole and 2 pieces of fifths. Okay, so here we have a fraction that is more than a whole by 2 fifths. Okay, so on pages 2 and 3, you are comparing fractions. And we learned to compare fractions using the benchmark half and the benchmark 1. We also learned to compare them by drawing a model. The last way we learned is by making a common denominator. When you repartition them, when you rewrite an equivalent fraction of, of another fraction, that could help you see which one is bigger or smaller. Okay, so let's say I have 4/10 again and 3/5. Okay, these fractions belong to different whole, but they are the same size. Okay, so this is a whole for the 3/5, and then here's a whole for the tenths. Okay, but I'm not gonna do the same way as we did before. I'm gonna make it where both the denominators are the same. So 5 and 10, let's ask ourselves, is 10 a multiple of 5? Or is 5 a factor of 10? And the answer is yes. 5, if we multiply 5 by 2, that gives us 10, right? So we're going to rewrite this fraction as 10th. So I'm going to multiply and take each of my fifths. I'm going to multiply them by a half. Remember? So I'm going to multiply each. So here's my number line. Here's my whole. 0 to 1. And it's partitioned into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to split each fifth into half. Because if I split each fifth into half, that will give me 10, right? But I want to create an equivalent fraction. I don't want to change my fraction. I just want to repartition it differently. Instead of fifths, I want to make it into tenths. So I need to multiply my 3 by 2 also, and that gives me 6. So we have now 6 tenths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths versus 4/10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is more, the 6/10 or the 4/10? And the answer is clear that 6/10 is bigger, right? It has more tenths than 4/10. So we were able to figure the answer out by having a common denominator, by repartitioning, resplitting our simpler fraction 3/5 into tenths, so that way both of them have the common denominator and we can see which fraction is big. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful. This is review, and practice makes habits. So practice, using a number line, using a box, using equivalent fractions, and you will understand fractions better and better each time. Thank you, fourth graders.